The grand hall of the Galactic Senate shimmered with an otherworldly light. Massive columns carved from crystalline minerals reached upward, and bioluminescent script floated across domed ceilings. For centuries, this ancient chamber had served as the meeting ground for species whose histories spanned eons. Now, for the first time, humanity, a scrappy, unpredictable civilization from a small blue planet, stood before the venerable assembly. Ambassador Jonah Reyes, clad in a tailored uniform that blended human tradition with subtle alien aesthetics, stepped forward with a mix of pride and trepidation. His voice resonated throughout the hall as he recounted Earth's journey from primordial struggles to interstellar ambitions. At his side, Commander-elect Donovan, whose calm yet resolute eyes betrayed a heavy past of conflict and sacrifice, stood silent but alert. Dr. Aria Caldwell, her laboratory coat adorned with digital patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat, and Minister Alina Bort, her fierce gaze softening only in moments of quiet resolve, completed the core human contingent. As Jonah presented humanity's achievements, technologies that had healed their wounded planet and cultural innovations that celebrated creativity and resilience, the alien delegates exchanged cool, measured glances. Elegant, elongated beings with intricate patterns on their skin and beings whose very presence redefined gravity whispered among themselves. In hushed tones, some remarked, "They are raw, unpredictable, dangerous even." Others murmured, "A positive force? More like a disruptor in our ordered cosmos." Even as the speech ended with a hopeful plea for unity, the atmosphere in that ancient Senate converted optimism into skepticism. Humanity's presence was a novelty but also a stark reminder that even progress could come with chaos. In that glittering chamber, the seeds of distrust and prejudice were sown, unwittingly setting the stage for the crisis to come. Light years away in the Andromeda sector, the oppressed Zalarians, gentle, insectal beings with luminous eyes and fragile wings, huddled in fear beneath a tyrannical regime. Their planet, revered for its natural beauty and harmonious culture, had recently suffered under an iron-fisted crackdown. The Zalarians' intricate security grid, designed to protect them from internal strife, had malfunctioned catastrophically during the assault. Deep within Earth's secret military research complexes, Dr. Caldwell pored over schematics of an experimental device known as Project Liberator. Conceived as a tool to disable hostile systems and free captive populations, the prototype harnessed a concentrated burst of quantum energy. Though it was still untested on a large scale, time was short. Commander Donovan was chosen to lead a covert strike team. Under a starlit sky, his squadron of sleek human starfighters slipped into hyperspace and materialized near the beleaguered Zalarian orbit. The tension was palpable. Every pilot knew the mission would be fraught with risk, yet the moral imperative to liberate an oppressed people was irresistible. On a remote plateau above the Zalarian capital, amidst swirling dust and shimmering plasma storms, Donovan's team deployed the Liberator. Dr. Caldwell's voice crackled over comms, steady amid the chaos. "Initiate sequence, now." A brilliant surge of energy spread across the enemy security network like ripples in water, deactivating defense systems with surgical precision. For a brief, euphoric moment, liberation seemed assured. Holographic images of joyful Zalarians broadcast across rebel channels, images that belied the high price paid. Vital infrastructure collapsed in the process, plunging entire sectors into chaos. While the Zalarians celebrated their newfound freedom, the collateral damage sparked outrage across established powers. In one explosive, irreversible moment, humanity's intervention had transcended mere aid, redefining the rules of interstellar interference. Back in the stately halls of the Galactic Senate, emergency sessions were convened under dark, oppressive lighting. Alien dignitaries whose voices resonated like echoes of long-forgotten civilizations debated the Liberator incident with measured venom. Their languages, complex and layered, filled the chamber as high-ranking representatives condemned the unilateral human action. Ambassador Reyes rose, his voice trembling with a mix of passion and disbelief. "We acted for justice. The Zalarians were enslaved by tyranny. We risked everything to show that no species should be left to suffer in silence." His words echoed off the cold, indifferent marble, seeking to bridge ancient tradition with a modern, morally charged plea. But the resistance was relentless. Council members with eyes like black voids and limbs that defied gravity voiced their discontent. Your methods have unbalanced the universal order. Reckless acts of liberation outrank negotiation, and chaos shall follow. In the end, the decision was as swift as it was brutal. The High Council decreed that humanity was now to be considered pariahs, a species unworthy of the trust and order that the Galactic Senate endeavored to uphold. News of the verdict spread like wildfire. Trade agreements with human-controlled systems evaporated almost overnight. Diplomatic envoys who once greeted Earth with guarded optimism now turned away. Humanity, once heralded as emerging equals, had been branded an outcast, a dangerous disruptor in an ordered universe. The impact of the Senate's decree was felt immediately on Earth. In bustling metropolitan capitals and quiet rural enclaves alike, the fallout was visceral. International trade routes crumbled, extraterrestrial assistance was abruptly halted, and once promising scientific exchanges were frozen in time. Economic sanctions strangled Earth's progress, while alien media outlets painted humanity as a belligerent, self-righteous species. Inside a secure command center beneath Earth's capital, Ambassador Reyes, Commander Donovan, Dr. Caldwell, and Minister Bort met in somber urgency. The holographic display before them showed shuttered orbital ports and economic graphs in freefall. Minister Bort's voice wavered. We trusted the Senate, and they repaid us with betrayal. Our future, once filled with promise, now seems uncertain. Faces hardened with resolve replaced expressions of despair. Commander Donovan's jaw clenched as he replied, "We were abandoned by those who claimed to be our guardians. It's up to us to rewrite the rules." In whispered conversations and hushed meetings throughout secretive underground bunkers on Earth and in far-flung colonies, the realization took hold that isolation might be the catalyst for rebirth. The old order had rejected them. Now humanity might finally be free to forge its destiny without the chains of outdated cosmic law. In the dim light of clandestine meeting rooms, a new vision took shape. Lieutenant Mara Sloan, a prodigious tactician barely out of her teens, stood before a group of hardened military officers and visionary scientists. "They may have cast us out," she declared with a fierce glint in her eye, "but as pariahs, we are free. Free to innovate without bounds." Across the hidden network of command centers, General Andrei Hallstrom, a battle-scarred leader whose scars told tales of past glories and sacrifices, ratified her words as he addressed an inner circle. "The time for submission is over. We must adapt and overcome this isolation. This is our chance to become the masters of our own fate." Meanwhile, Dr. Caldwell unveiled her latest breakthrough, the Iron Key, a sophisticated evolution of the Liberator prototype. Designed not merely to disable a system but to cloak, protect, and empower independent worlds, the Iron Key was a technological marvel meant to disrupt centralized control and surveillance. Its unveiling was accompanied by Minister Bort's impassioned speech. "We will no longer be the subjects of an outdated hierarchy. We shall be the architects of our destiny." Thus, the resistance of the pariahs was born, a movement uniting not only humankind but also alien species similarly oppressed by the galactic order. Under cover of secrecy, independent outposts across the galaxy began to coordinate, preparing for a new era of defiant freedom. The shifting winds of fate soon led to confrontation in the Vega system, a strategically vital region where one of the human outposts had become a beacon of resistance. The Galactic Order, determined to stamp out this insurrection, dispatched a combined fleet of elite warships from several long-trusted alien powers. Their arrogance was palpable as they neared the outpost, fully expecting an unchallenged submission. But humanity, now hardened by betrayal, was ready. Commander Donovan helmed the flagship Rebels Beacon, a vessel retrofitted with cutting-edge stealth and offensive technologies borrowed from the Iron Key innovation. As the enemy fleet's massive carriers and dreadnoughts darkened the void ahead, Lieutenant Sloan's voice rang through the comms, calm yet electrifying. "Prepare to engage. Execute hit-and-run protocols. Remember, chaos is our ally." In a breathtaking series of maneuvers, human starfighters danced through the corridors of enemy fire. Swarms of autonomous drones, coordinated by an upgraded version of Aegis, a system born of Dr. Caldwell's relentless research, darted around enemy hulls. Laser bolts etched fiery arcs across deep space as enemy ships staggered under the precise, unpredictable barrage. Beneath the cosmic chaos, a pivotal moment unfolded. Captain Reyes, a close confidant of Ambassador Jonah Reyes and a hero in his own right, volunteered for a sacrificial sortie. Leading a daring team aboard a modified interceptor, he penetrated the enemy's blockade. In a heart-stopping sequence, his vessel drew enemy fire away from the main body of human fighters and seized control of a strategic space platform. The resulting disruption shattered the enemy formation, compelling the battered fleet to retreat in organized disarray. By the end of the Battle of Vega Reach, the skies over the outpost were filled with the remnants of shattered Imperial craft and the triumphant cries of free people. The victory would be etched into interstellar history as a shining example of human ingenuity and sheer willpower. News of Vega Reach's victory rippled through the galaxy like a beacon of hope. Oppressed species everywhere saw in humanity not a reckless interloper, but a spark that could ignite their own revolutions. Disillusioned and dissatisfied members of the old galactic order began defecting from its ranks and joining the burgeoning movement. In a series of secret convocations aboard hastily constructed vessels and hidden stations, Ambassador Reyes, Commander Donovan, Dr. Caldwell, Minister Bort, Lieutenant Sloan, and General Halstrom forged a new alliance. They called it the Coalition of Free Systems, a union of independent worlds dedicated to self-determination, justice, and mutual respect. During one such meeting aboard the newly commissioned flagship Unity's Flame, representatives from disparate worlds gathered around a massive holotable. Detailed maps of trade routes, military deployments, and shared technologies lit up the darkened chamber. Minister Bort spoke fervently, "We stand on the brink of a new era. No longer will ancient powers dictate the fates of billions. Today, we reclaim our future." Ambassador Reyes added, "Our strength lies not in obedience to outdated laws, but in our unity and relentless spirit. We are free peoples, and together, we will reshape the universe." Through relentless diplomacy, joint military exercises, and the exchange of revolutionary ideas and technology, the coalition grew stronger each day. The momentum of the Pariahs uprising was unstoppable, and the old order began to crumble under its own decadence. Years later, as the ruins of the old galactic order faded into myths and memories, the Coalition of Free Systems blossomed into a new interstellar council. Its governing body, assembled from diverse species united by common aspirations, worked to rebuild trust, transparency, and mutual support across the galaxy. In a grand assembly aboard Unity's Flame, now a symbol of renewal and hope, an older Ambassador Jonah Reyes addressed a crowd of thousands. His eyes, still burning with the fire of defiance and hope, swept over representatives from every corner of the new order. "They branded us pariahs," he began, "and in doing so, they underestimated the power of our spirit. We were cast out, but we forged our own destiny with blood, sweat, and unyielding courage. Today, we stand as architects of a universe free from tyranny." As his words echoed, images flashed across holographic displays, scenes of once-oppressed worlds celebrating newfound freedom, exiled peoples joining hands in unity, and stellar battles fought not for conquest but for justice. General Halstrom, Commander Donovan, Dr. Caldwell, Minister Bort, and Lieutenant Sloan stood by his side, each a pillar in the legacy built by those who dared to defy an ancient order. The assembly erupted in applause, not merely as a celebration of victory, but as a testament to the truth that sometimes, being cast aside forces the emergence of a new, unstoppable force. Humanity, once shunned as a reckless, dangerous outlier, had sparked a revolution that reshaped the cosmos. In that defining moment, the universe learned an eternal lesson, that being called pariahs was not a mark of weakness, but the beginning of a legacy built on defiance, resilience, and the courage to define one's own destiny.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe the channel for more videos like this.